So we got a whole bunch of new information that came out the other day. I wanted to cover this, give you guys some thoughts. These are the leaked sort of data mine type situation for a bunch of stuff that's going to be coming to the game. We've got a February notice on the, or a notice for the February season pass image. You can see this is going to be the Black Order. For those of you not familiar with Marvel Comics, that's sort of like Thanos's group. It was in a bunch of the Marvel movies, Infinity War, and as well as Endgame. So we've got Black Swan, who actually I might look up during the course of this video, because I'm not familiar with who Black Swan is. That might be part of the Black Order, but I'm not familiar. We got a Dope Death variant and Ebony Maw. So Black Swan is obviously the season card. We'll talk about what that is in a second. The shop, it looks like maybe another Hellfire Gala. I don't know. That seems a little bit off. But now let's talk about the new cards first, because I think this is probably going to be the main part of this video, even though there are some bundles here. There are some spotlights we're going to want to talk about, as well as some new emojis that we're also hyped about, because if we don't have them, the world is going to end. Please don't leave. You probably already did. All right, love you. So Black Swan, first one, cost 2, 3 power. This card, before I even read it to you, is going to be insane. On reveal, until the end of the next turn, your 1-cost cards cost 0. Now, I certainly understand now why, they might have taken Firestar out of the game, because that could have gotten insane. You put like a Forge on that as well. Oh my God, just bonkers. This is going to make Hitmonkey a lot better. I just like the card. I think it's good. Anybody who likes to play their 1 cards, this is going to be really, really nice for you. The fact that it costs 0, I think it's phenomenal. And it's an easy card to play basically on whatever turn you want. The next 2 cards I want to sort of talk about in pairing Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight. They go sort of hand in hand in lore and stuff as well. Corvus Glaive is going to be a 3/4. On reveal, discard 2 cards from your hand to get 1 max energy. That by itself is like, okay, that seems decent, but it's a little bit of a better Hellcow as far as like ability for getting the power and power to cost ratio or cost to power ratio. But when paired up with Proxima Midnight is when this is discarded, jumps to your lowest power location that isn't full. She's a 4/6. So if Corvus Glaive can actually discard Proxima Midnight, it's basically like a 3/10. Which is awesome. Now, there is some RNG to that, but I mean, depending on how many cards you have in your hand, that could be super, super nice. You pair that with, I mean, I'm thinking about Gambit. I'm thinking about Gambit in sense that I'd want Swarms. So you pair this with Swarms, and you've got a Gambit, and well, it's like, so Corvus Glaive hits the Swarms, like, okay, they keep cutting, who cares? Also, as well with Morbius, not the R, the Mobius. And I think that it's going to be a really nice pairing with all of those. Next up, we've got Call Obsidian. It's a 4/10. You can only play this at a location with an Infinity Stone. Ongoing, cannot be destroyed. That's insane. It's a 4/10. You just have to have 1 Infinity Stone there. That might have been the reason they pre-nerfed the Mind Stone. I don't know. This is a ways away. It's like over a month away. So I don't think it was necessarily for that. But it's something to think about for potential major resurgence for Thanos with Call Obsidian. That's going to be a monster. And then last but not least, Super Giant. It's a 1-cost, 2-power card. On reveal, all cards played this turn and next don't reveal until the game ends. This card is also going to be insane. The limitation that you can have, this could really screw over some people. This turn and on the next turn, don't reveal until the game ends. So you're going to lock down, you want priority. So make sure you have priority. And once you do, if you're playing against an on-reveal deck, good luck. Good luck. I mean, like if it's an America Chavez, if it's a collector deck, if it's a Loki deck, go ahead, the game's over. Maybe this isn't why they nerfed Loki, is because Super Giant was coming, and Loki, they want to have like a day in the sun or 3 months in the sun. So that it had its power and it had a reign, because when Super Giant comes, it's going to change things. It's just going to change things. I'm very interested to see how this card goes. I think in general, I like all of these. Black Swan is amazing. Call Obsidian's really solid for Thanos players. It's probably going to make that deck a little bit more formidable. Your Super Giant is really good against any on reveal sets out there. Like I mentioned, the collector decks, the stuff with Loki, it's just going to make it so that, yeah, Loki gives you your cards, but it's not till the end when it doesn't matter. So all you're going to get is points on collector. That's amazing. And then Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight. are going to be, I believe, great to pair together in a certain discard deck. I think it's good. The interesting part is, well, okay, isn't discard you're typically wanting to play something with like Sif? How is that going to play in with this? Is that something you're going to want to do together, or are there going to be like two different courses of discard types that maybe you're going to go with the Sif type discard versus the Corvus Glaive Proxima Midnight, and how they all play together? So anyway, something to think about. They might still all play nice, and you just, well, you get what you get and kind of go from there. But I'm really looking forward to this month. I think the cards are really good and phenomenal. Again, Black Order, Black Swan. Before we get to locations, let's actually look up who Black Swan is, because I normally don't do this, but I think it's important for us to understand. At least I want to see, and maybe you'll want to hear yourself as well. So Black Swan, I'm going to murder this name, Yabat Amanturu, is a very interesting and insanely powerful character. I am not going to read through all this, the general gist here, and I'm wondering if Snap's going to like give us a little spoiler here into the MCU. She's tied to the multiverse. She's tied to Secret Wars. She's tied to Doom. A lot of multiversal stuff going on here. Basically, she lost her Earth. She was captured. Ended up going to Earth 616, captured by the Illuminati. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on. Her powers, this is where I was optic blasts. Possesses the ability to fire energy blasts from her eyes, Cyclops-esque. Are strong enough to hurt Captain Marvel. Okay, insane. Superhuman strength. She possesses superhuman strength, class 25. She has been shown cracking the near impenetrable cell wall, capable of holding a Herald of Galactus that she was being held in with just one punch. She's a telepath. She can fly and hover. She can make force fields and make holograms. So it's like Invisible Woman, a little Loki, flying, Professor X telepathy, or telepathic. Superhuman strength, optic blasts. Yeah, she's just in general a really strong character. And honestly, there's a whole bunch of other stuff here I'm not going to go through, but I find this character very interesting. And I think that as far as the Marvel Cinematic Universe goes, if you're into that sort of thing, I wouldn't be surprised if we see her at some point. So anyway, wanted to cover that real quick. Now let's get back to the Marvel Snap stuff. All right, we got two new locations. Sanctuary 2, add a random Infinity Stone to your hand. Interesting. Maybe that helps bring Thanos back a little bit. Highly doubt it, but anyway. Black Vortex. The first card you play here becomes a random 6-cost card. Hopefully it's not Destroyer and kills everything else you've got, so you've got to be careful with that, but I like that. 6-cost cards are pretty solid. We got a Conquest variant in Gamora. Now let's talk about this Spotlight variants. Now Supergiant, we said, is going to be a great card. It's paired with Darkhawk and Zabu. Now this is going to... What's going to happen with this Spotlight is it's going to fuel another conversation. That other conversation is going to have to do with series drops. I am not going to make this video about that, other than to say, why aren't they here yet? It's silly. I don't get it. It is going to be the end of the year. So does this mean that by February that Darkhawk is still not dropped? Okay, maybe it's never dropping. I certainly would understand it never dropping, but I do want to hear what the heck's going on with series drops. The Spotlight variants, they look cool. I mean, who knows? To me, it's all about animations anyway. The next week, week of Valentine's Day, all you think about is Cull Obsidian. Nimrod and Thanos. All right, well, Thanos and Cull Obsidian makes sense. Nimrod, fine, whatever. The actual Spotlight variants. I love this Thanos Spotlight variant, the one with the comic. That's super dope. The next week is Corvus Glaive, paired up with Stat, and this is the one where it's discard. You want to pair up with your Proxima Midnight. Then Stature and X-23. I feel like Stature's been in so many spotlights, and in general, that's something, and X-23, like, can we rotate more? Because I don't need 3 spotlights of X-23. It's annoying. I don't like it. Stop it, please. But yeah, I mean, my gut here is that, and honestly, I think you want to pull and get all these cards. I think they're all great. Proxima Midnight's the next week. Speaking of cards that have been in there before, MODOK, at least it's not paired with Stature yet again. And then Dokken, which fell off a little bit, but I think with some of these discards going on, it might be solid. But there's a lot of clunkiness here where we're talking about Sif, Dokken, Corvus Glaive. I don't know. I mean, I don't think you're ever going to really want to play Proxima Midnight. She's there just so she can be thrown onto the field. Solid. Yeah, pretty good spotlights. That, again, always depends on what they look like animated. New variants. Bullseye, not even in the game, but fun. Ghost Spider. Let's see. What else we got in here? Anything cool? I'm just going to... a Dan Hip Nico. All right, I love you, Dan Hip, but I've already got my Spotlight Nico, and that's never going to change. The Black Swan, some decent ones that are coming. This cloak, well, who's that by? It doesn't show, but that's a pretty cool cloak one. I like that Medusa one. Man, that dagger one, that's Cloak and Dagger. I wonder if that's the same artist. It looks a little different, but Venomized Medusa. Ryan Gonzalez Mirage. I really like that one. That's actually super cute. That's a really, is that an Art Ger McQuay maybe? That's interesting. It looks like an Iron Man Sentinel. What else we got here? Anything? Gambit in his abs, looking good. Kingpin, that's already there technically, I think. Dan hit Mystique. That's actually really cool. I like that with the Spider-Man. That's pretty awesome looking. And then I'm not sure what's happening with that arm. Somebody comment below. What's going on in that arm? Ryan Gonzalez with Mobius looking good. Dan hit Werewolf by Night. Captain Marvel wanting to go on a date with me. I'm married, but I'll consider it. Let's see what else we got here. That Ghost Rider one, I bet the animations there are pretty sweet. Same with this Iron Lad one. I would love that Iron Lad one. That's really cool. I bet the animations on that are really, really cool. I could see that being awesome. Okay, what is happening here? This looks to be a new variant type. I'd be curious to hear what this is. It looks familiar, but I'm not remembering what type of art type that is. I have to say, and I'm probably going to upset some people, but I can't see myself really liking those. But I'm sure there's some people who do, and that's why that's called art. War Machine, still your 1-cost cards have +1 power. Well, maybe with Black Swan, we'll see. That Annihilus, more War Machine, Jane Foster, that's pretty sweet. A Venomized Leech, very cool. Some more, man, Ryan Gonzalez putting in work this month, or whenever, I guess maybe she's already done it so that they can get released this month, but they're all looking good. Like it a lot. Okay, so albums, this has been a hot, so what new albums do we get? This is already in the game. Hip's already in the game. Jim Lee X-Men already in the game, so they're not, okay, so here's a new one, Hellfire Gala. So this is one for Hellfire. This one looks, there's that Captain Marvel Thirst. Oh, I might have to try that. She is pretty. Let's see, and I've got to have my pretty cards to play, though I never play her. So a Spotlight Cash Key, and then basically just the Hellfire Gala variants. So if you're wanting any of these, that's what you're going to get, and these are rewards for getting them. Again, I'm not going to go through that whole montage of whether it's right or wrong or different video. New card backs. We got some stuff for Death. We've got a Thanos Infinity Gauntlet one. That's pretty awesome. I love all three of those. I like that a lot. And then we've got bundles. All right, so sometimes I end up doing the bundles in a different video because it's just too long. So I don't necessarily want to go over those right now. I'll do that in a separate video. Like and subscribe if you want to check it out, please. The emotes. We've seen these around. Again, people are raging all over the place for the albums. This Cosmo's in one. I know we get, where's the other one? I know there's a Venomized one in here. So looking at these are Agatha. I mean, this is just going to be like, I don't know. Everybody's going to troll. It's just going to be crazy. Like, people are going to mute others all the time. It's going to be nuts. This Sus, Dazzler vibe, and I dig it. Doom Confident. All right. Doctor Strange is this, the Galactus. Okay. I mean, I think that's how he's going to say it. But Gambit Swoon. Anyway, I'm not going to go through each one of these. You can see them here. I'm going to kind of scroll. If something pops out at me, sure, I'll talk about this. This Magneto Bring It On one's out there right now. Leech Y. I love that. That's Leech, actually. Pretty funny. Nick Fury. Morph Deflated. Talking about being deflated about Morph. I like Professor X. Storm Just No. Some flexes. I like the Sandman Salty. Good work there. This Venom one's already out right now. The Eye Roll Iron Man or Tony Stark. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Wolverine, get him. I'm gonna probably have to get that one. And then we've got a new surface background. I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a new background. You can see it's space. So we're gonna have all the foils that we currently have. We're gonna have the black and white inked, the gold, and now space. And I think that's actually pretty cool. I'm very interested to see what that looks like with a lot of the different cards. Love how it looks. Well done. So that's all we got. Those are all the different leaks / new things out there. Again, I'll do the bundles in a different video just because there's so many of them, and I like to try to give my a little bit more of a thought to those. I mean, it's not necessarily a giant deep dive. Well, I do that before the month, but I'll give you my initial thoughts on them in that video. So appreciate you making it this far in the video. If you want to hammer down that like button, it's the biggest thing you can do to support the channel, especially if you've made it this far. Comment below. It helps with the algorithm as well. Until next time, we hope you have a wonderful day.